Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 152. It is Wednesday morning, and we all know what that means. Today is the big day, the day that we travel, the day of the overnight, and the day that we make a lot of money. And we're going to do that today. We're starting off early, 6:30 a.m., and heading out. It is a very foggy day this morning, 70 degrees outside. And yeah, yesterday I needed a big turnaround in my attitude, and I kind of feel like I got it. I got a little bit of a boost. I got out of the ordinary and did something different, and I made a little bit of money, and made me feel a little bit better. I think right now for the week I'm barely ahead, probably $800 ahead for the week, and so we're going to try to produce something here in the next couple days. Our goal is going to be probably to hit 8 casinos overnight, and our goal is going to be to make $5,000, and we'll see how that goes. Work-wise, of course, with me being on call, it's going to be very busy. I'll look at all the overnight stuff, make sure everything is taken care of. I will look at all the tickets this morning on my way to the first casino. And tomorrow I have an endless number of meetings, it seems like. And I'm opening up my calendar right now to take a look. It is so crazy. Tomorrow I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 meetings. And Friday I have 2, 4, 6 meetings. So I have 16 meetings over the next 2 days. Looks like overnight I got 4 investigations that I need to take care of. And we are low on gas. We have about 50 miles range right now. So we're going to need to stop as soon as we get out of the main city area here and onto the highway. And then we'll be good for a while. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I don't even know how much money I have on me. I'll have to count that. I like to have a count initially of how much money I have. So if later on in the day there's a discrepancy, I don't know how much I made or lost somewhere, that I know what I did before that, and I know what I have at that moment, and it can help me narrow down how much money it is. So that's pretty much all that's going on. The sun is just peeking up over the horizon, bright red, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. So I stopped, got gas, everything is good, and moved on to the first casino. At the first casino, I walked in and I'm looking at machines and I'm finding nothing. Just bad timing, I think, just between people already doing what I do. I did find a machine in the far reaches of the casino. I played that one and made like $26 or $27, and then came back around to the front. There were some machines that were being played by someone else that I couldn't get to, and there were actually 2 of them. One was a play and one was a borderline play, and I sat at the one that was a good play and played that, and with that I was ahead a total of $56. And then someone sat next to me before I could get to the other one, and he was playing a whole different level, but he was going to be there for a while, so I walked away from that. I checked out 5 or 6 more areas and couldn't find anything else that was worthwhile. So overall I ended up only playing 2 machines there, and I ended up ahead $56, so that's okay. I am moving on right now to an area where I'm usually not there at this time of day. So I'm going to a casino on a shift that I don't usually visit. So we're going to do that first and then move on from there. So I'm not going to know a lot of people there, so you got to be careful not to spread too much. And we'll see what happens there. But pretty hopeful about it. So right now, another thing, I just got a message from someone if I want to buy some Canadian money. I do have some, but I need some also for our trip, because we're thinking about doing a fishing tour, expedition, whatever, fishing trip. So with that, you get the whole boat basically, and you have a captain and a couple people, and they're casting for you, and you're waiting for something to bite, and then you grab the reel, you grab the pole, and you reel it in. So yeah, hopefully that'll work out. Right now, for I can't find a boat big enough for all of us. Most of the time, the maximum I can find is like 6 people, but for 5 or 6 people, the average seems to be about $750 Canadian, which doesn't seem bad to me. It's about $560 American, I think, off the top of my mind. So hopefully I can get that done, but the area we're going to doesn't have a lot of these, so I'm only down to maybe 1, because I contacted the captain of another one last night, and he's busy for those days. So maybe 1, and worst case, hopefully they have a nice marina and we can get a boat and just go out on our own and enjoy the water. So anyway, I'm going to let you go right now, moving on to the next casino, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I go into this place, go right to the area where the blackjack is, and there's no blackjack. There's free bet, there's all kinds of blackjack variants, let's say, but not blackjack. There was one blackjack table that I found at a $100 minimum bet, and it was full, and so I couldn't play. So I thought I was being smart by getting here early and being on a different shift and all that, but I couldn't even sit down at the blackjack table. Now, one thing that did work out though is I did play some slots, and I actually only ended up finding 2 plays, 2 similar machines next to each other with unusual plays that I probably play this machine once a month, but both of them had it available. And I played that through, and I ended up ahead $318 overall on both of those machines. But that's all that I could really find, and I was a little frustrated to come here. I mean, I still made money. It's still more than EV, so I should be happy, but I really thought I'd be able to get a blackjack session in. So right now we're heading off to another casino, and we're gonna play blackjack there, hopefully make some good money there, and we'll see what happens. But it is warming up outside. It's 79 degrees, hazy skies right now, but so far casinos have not been, the 2 casinos have not been too busy, so that's one positive, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to let you go right now. I'm going to go into the next casino, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I walk into this place, I check the machines, I see nothing. I go play some blackjack. Actually, I did see something. What was I? I was plus $3 on the machines. Went and played blackjack, and when I got to the blackjack area, there were only 2 tables open. I don't know what's going on here. This guy keeps stopping on the ramp in front of me. I don't know what he's doing, but I don't like it. Anyway, there's 2 tables open. One had a guy playing, and then the other one was empty. I go to the one that was empty. I sit down, start playing, and then I look over and I notice that the guy is playing 2 hands of 5,000 a hand and 1,000 on the bonus on each. So he's basically playing $12,000 a round, splits, doubles, everything. And he's got about, I don't know, maybe 2.25 in front of him, 225,000 in front of him. And I went back and I played. I bought in for 500 and immediately lost most of it. I don't know what this guy's doing. He's driving all goofy, a little scary. Anyway, immediately I get 6s, I split, I resplit, double, 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 lose them all. I'm like, this is a great start. That was like my second hand, I think. And here's a guy in front of me right now with a pickup truck, and he's dropping off some drinks to a homeless guy, which I don't mind. The guy's got like no water or anything, so I don't mind that. I gave him a couple Gatorades and a water, but anyway, so he's playing that much a hand, and I sit down, I start losing right away, and then I get a big hand. It's like not a huge hand, but it's a $300 hand, and I split it, and then I resplit, and I double, and I win them all, so that helps a little bit. That's a $2,400 swing on that one. The dealer had a 6, flipped over a 5 for an 11, and then a 5 for a 16, and then a 6 for a 21, for a 22. And then there was another hand, the next shoe. First hand of the shoe, he had a blackjack, I had a 20. Second hand, I had an 18, 10, 8, and he had a blackjack again. So that's a great start to the running count. And then third or fourth hand, he had 4 aces, and then 2/3 of the way through the shoe, he had a hand that had 5 aces in it. Now, I'm not positive about this because I was only there for like 3 shoes, but I feel like something was going on because that guy was playing that high of a limit that the penetration was a lot worse than usual. Generally, this place is gonna, if you look it up, it's gonna be like 1.5, 1.25, and I'm usually getting about 1, but I was closer to 1.5. I feel like today, so it might have been because the other guy was there. They were probably giving him 1.5 or 2 on a 6-deck shoe, and just wanted to be uniform while he was there. I'm not positive, but that's just the feeling I get. So anyway, I end up leaving the table at the end of a shoe. I had $800, and I go to cash out, and the guy who was playing the big bets had left the table, and he was about to go cash out. Then he got a phone call, and I noticed when I left the table, and also in his hands when I was leaving, that he probably had about 65 or 70K left in his hands. So he probably lost around 150 in the time that I was there. Now, it doesn't take long to do that, obviously. When you're playing $12,000 a round, and you're talking about 10, 12 rounds, and you're down $100,000, 150 even. So I don't know what he started with. I kind of felt like I heard someone say that he started with 50, but I'm not positive. But I know for a fact that he had tons of chips in front of him when I got there. So who knows what the truth is. Anyway, right now I am heading back to the casino I left a little bit ago because I don't want to go too far away, hoping now that the tables are open, and I know that there's a shift change that just happened there, and the casino I just left has not had a shift change. So important notes to keep for yourselves, and we'll see what happens here. I'm hoping to get some blackjack time in, make 1,000, 1,500. I'd love to do that, but we'll see how it goes. Temperature is soaring still. I was only in that casino an hour or so, and the temperature is now up to 88. So for sure it's going to be topping 90 if it's 88 already this early on. But other than that, it's still hazy out, but a decent day. So I'm going to hop in this casino, make some money, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. So I went in there and looked at slots again and played a little bit of blackjack, but I only played blackjack for a short while, and the reason is it went negative and negative and negative, and there was nowhere else to move to. So I ended up leaving, but the whole time, I mean, I was pretty much winning as it was going negative, but it eventually got to the point like minus 17 halfway through the shoe. I decided to get up, but I was ahead, like I said, $575, so plus $575 there. I walked around and looked at the tables because I noticed something different about them, and what they did is they changed the layout, and now most of the tables no longer say 3-2 on them, and what that does is it allows them to put that information on the screen. So later at night, on weekends, things like that, they can convert more tables from 3 to 2 to 6 to 5, which is just terrible. But I see why they were doing it, because I was going around counting how many 3 to 2 and how many 6 to 5. And the old ones would say 3 to 2 or 6 to 5, but the new ones just say insurance pays 2 to 1, and whether or not they hit on 17, soft 17. So that's something to watch out for. I talked to a pit boss, and we got to be friends because of something that happened in my life that she found out about, that I told her about, and something similar had happened to her, and we became friends. And she asked me if I was going to play, and I said no. I'm just kind of looking at these tables. Everything's moved around, because they actually shifted some tables around too. And she's like, yeah, I don't like the new way that they're doing it. I think it's not a good way to do it, because it's going to cause congestion on the floor in certain areas where the other way was better. So talked to her for a minute, and then left her, looked at slots. And slots, I took a ride. I was down as much as 200 right away, and ended up walking away ahead $82. So plus 82 on the slots, plus 575 on the blackjack. And I was going to go right back in, but where am I going to play? There's just that one good table that's open right now. I didn't even cash out my chips because I was planning on sitting back down, but now I feel like I should move on to another place. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm way early on everything here. I really don't want to go hours and hours away, but trying to work this out here. How am I going to do this? I'd like to stay in the local area here. Within 2 hours. But I could go back to the other place in a couple hours. All right, there's another casino a ways down here. I'm gonna go there and take a look. For some reason, they're not opening their good blackjack tables very often during the day anymore, so I may be forced onto a low limit, like a $15 8 deck, which is not great, but I could have like $50 in nickels in front of me and the rest in green, and play it that way. Maybe I start at a quarter, and if the count goes down right away, go down to 15, and if it goes up, just do my normal play. That's not going to help that much, but I may do that. And I'll look at their slot machines as well, and then figure out what to do. Kind of got myself in a little pickle here. I don't want to go back to this place right away, but the other place is still in transition because the pit bosses and the dealers are offset by an hour, so I don't want to go back there just yet. So anyway, gonna let you go right now, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So I go into this place and I search everywhere, slot machines, there's nothing. So what these guys are doing, and I'm seeing this trend more and more often, they're taking out beatable machines and putting in machines that are not beatable, and it's just horrible. You end up with a group of people fighting each other for the few plays that there are, even violence sometimes, and it's not looking good in a lot of places. But this time I found nothing to play, and ended up playing blackjack. Went to the blackjack area. There was only one table open. It's like, go find a free bet. You'll see piles of them. So I went to that area and saw that there was only one table there. There was a guy playing, and he was about halfway through the shoe. And I just watched where the cut card was, because I was a little bit worried about it, because I had heard that this place is getting worse, and it does look like they are getting a little bit worse, at the least. Some dealers, very bad. But for me, it seemed like it was okay, around almost like 1.4, so I could live with that. That's about my borderline on a 6-deck shoe. Sat down when the shoe ended and started playing, and just at first things were just not going well, but slowly they turned around dealer just, every time, it was weird because it was always on 14, and he'd get a 2 and then something to make a hand. 14, 16, 20, 14, 16, 21. It was always 14, 2, and then something else, and made a hand and was crushing us. And the guy ended up spreading to 2 hands, which was fine because it was a negative count at that point. And I finally ended up leaving at the end of a shoe plus 800, which I was very fortunate to get there. I was actually plus, wait a minute here, plus 800 because I was pretty sure it was plus 800. I'll double check the money in my pocket. Yeah, for sure it was, because I remember now, because I was plus 700 and I had just won a hand, and I said, come on, let's keep it going. I remember that part because then we lost about 8 or 9 hands in a row. And so that was something that stuck in my head. I was plus 700, and I thought, man, I'm never going to get back there the way the shoes are going. And I ended up ahead 800. So plus 800 on the blackjack. Went back, looked at slots again, found one machine that's a new machine in this area, but overall it's not a new machine. It's been around in a lot of markets. It's a very misleading machine, and everyone is having a hard time finding the right point to get in, and I don't think I found it yet. It took me for a long ride. At $2 a spin, I was down as much as $4.60. I was involved as much as $4.90, and I got lucky at the end and ended up leaving down $9 on it. So very happy to get out of there. And I just can't see. You almost have to have it be right there for it to be a play. So if it was a must hit by 100, this machine would almost have to be like 99, 95, because the way that it moves is not consistent, and basically it could play with you forever before it finally gave it to you. So, and there's other machines like that too. There's a must hit by that will only go up when you get a line hit. Otherwise you could go dozens of spins and have it not move up. So anyway, right now moving on to another casino, and we'll see what we can do there. Hopefully just keep on building. We're over 3,000, I'm pretty sure, and we're just going to keep on trying to build on it, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. That was an interesting visit, I think is a good word for it. Interesting. I walk in and I look at some slots first, see very little, looked at a lot of things, and played 1 or 2, and I was down like $26 on the slots when I went to play blackjack. I bought in at a $50 table, spreading short 1 to 5. The pit boss was a lady who's backed off a friend of mine before, and what's interesting is I saw her earlier in the day and played the game perfectly with her, because I saw her in the elevator and I had a voucher in my hand for $12.50, and I gave some excuse like, look, this is all I got left, or something like that. So when I saw her, she said, hey, how'd it go with the slots? I said, don't ask, not good. And so she was telling the dealer, I saw him in the elevator, he had a slot slip for $12.72. I said $12.58. And I don't know what it was. I've never really had a connection with her, but today was a little bit different. Today she was like in the mood to talk. She was telling me about how bad her eyes are, and about how she likes to watch the Olympics, and how she doesn't get up early enough. She was telling me that she had her house inspected by the insurance company because she was trying to lower the price of her insurance, and she worked so hard getting the house ready, and the guy was there for about 5 minutes, took a few pictures and left. So she's telling me all this, she's volunteering all this stuff to me, and I'm talking to her, keeping the count and playing, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So initially buy in for 500, and that goes like nothing. Buy in for 500 more, and that lasts me a long time, and then finally lose that. Buy in for a third 500, and understand my biggest bet at this point was only 150 because I wasn't getting the counts that I wanted. Severe negatives, not severe, but true -2, -3, maybe a little bit more, -4 even. But there's no other tables to go to. The other two tables are $100 tables, and there's people playing on them. So I had to try to stick it out, or I had to leave. So those were my choices. So so at this point, I'm in for 1,500, and I'm down to 125. The count called for a $150 bet. I didn't want to go rebuy if I didn't have to, so I put out the 125. I win the hand. The count goes up. Now it's the end of the shoe. The count calls for max bet 250, and this hand was like not this specific hand, but I just want to tell you about this hand. I had a 6-3 against a 6. I double it and I get a 3, and the dealer gets a bunch of 2s and 3s for a 20. That was 2s, 3s, and 4s for a 20, and that was pretty disgusting. But anyway, I don't know why that just came up in my head there, but that happened after this hand here that I'm about to tell you about. So I put out the whole 250 that I have, and I get a double down hand. Now, again, this is the pit boss that backed off someone I know, and I'm trying not to let her see my bets when they're high. She is handling 2 different pits, so when she comes over, she'll come over for a second, see my bet, put it in the computer, and walk away. So I always make sure when she comes over, my bet is the minimum bet, and that's been working the whole time. But I'm not going to not double. You know, I believe I had a 10 against an 8, and for 250. So I rebuy for 500 more. I'm in for 2,000. I put the whole thing out there. She's not even paying attention to it. I win. I take all my bet off when she comes over and puts it in the computer, because she's on the other side when I did that. So now all of a sudden she's putting me in for another 500, and I've got all these chips in front of me. And then I finished out that shoe, and I was at like 1,250 out of my 2,000, and I'm like right there. It's not even a big deal. I'm not down that much. It's not a big deal. Just got to keep on going. It was a very boring table. The dealer was boring. The replacement dealer, the brake runner, was boring. They were dealing slow. The replacement dealer had the real long nails, and she couldn't pick up the cards. So when the hand finished up, she's like trying to pick up the cards, but always having a hard time with it. And so it took extra long to play each hand because she couldn't pick up the cards. Anyway, or she kept dropping them, picking them up. She wants to put them in the discard tray, and she keeps dropping them. So finally, the brake runner is gone. The other guy comes back. I'm at like 1,100, build it up to 1,500. Next shoe, I get close to even, but not quite there. It goes back down again, up and down, and finally finish a shoe at exactly $2,050, which means I was ahead $50 after all that, and I decided to walk. I'd been there for a while, and I don't want to be around this lady, but she was was playing with me. She was like knocking my chips over, and she put her hand on my hand and told me she loved me because I said something that she agreed with about Baccarat and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, this is like a little weird, you know. I'm not the youngest guy in the world, but she's way older than me. So she knocked over my chips 2 or 3 times. There was one time when it was a double down, but it was iffy, and I was thinking about it. And she took my chips and she put it out there, and she said face down, and the dealer dealt it. And I'm like, I might have not wanted that, you know, because I was like borderline on whether or not I was going to do it. And I ended up winning the hand, so I'm not going to complain. But if I had lost, I didn't really want to make a big deal out of it. But not everybody doubles the same stuff all the time. So just like hitting 12s and 13s, you know, not everyone plays it the same way, especially if you're counting. So anyway, I ended that session ahead $50 after spreading from $50 to $250. The low was minus 1,200, and actually 1,375, and the high was plus 50, which I got like after 2 or 3 hands, and then at the end of the shoe, and I walked away. And at this point, like I said, I'm down like $26 or $25 on slots. I go back to slots, I find one that's in position, I play it through, and just like magic, it was like the second or third spin, I hit it and walk away ahead 263 on the slots for the session. So plus 50 on the blackjack, plus 263 on the slots. And right now, it was going to be decision time, but I don't think it's a big decision. I'm going to go play blackjack at the casino, the second casino I played this morning. By the time I get there, I think there's no way they're going to remember me from earlier. There's going to be a lot more tables open, so I'll have more variety. I still have my chips. I didn't cash out any chips from the session I just had either, so I'll cash those out tomorrow. I'll be heading through there anyway, so I may even go back again tonight depending on how things go. So things are still pretty fluid, if you can't tell. So anyway, right now we're gonna look at some slots, we're gonna play some blackjack, and then I'll be back to update you. Okay guys, I'm back. So I noticed that when I do these overnights, I start with some bigger wins and then they get smaller and smaller, and I think that's because I have the ability to leave on a negative count and not abandon the day. Because if I go somewhere for just one day, I'm probably going to hit each casino once and I'm done, and I will play through negative counts more often. Sometimes, you know, that's good, sometimes not. But on a day like today, when I could revisit a place more than once, I do find that I do leave on a big negative count more often and actually leave the casino if I don't see anything, versus like hanging around the casino for half an hour and hoping something is going to change or there's going to be another opportunity. So I went in there, I bought in with a chip, $500 chip, and played for half an hour, not very long. Just couldn't get anything going, and negative counts. My max bet was only $150. There was just nothing going on at all, and I was hanging around even most of the time. In fact, my high for the session was only plus 350, and I ended up leaving ahead 200 on the blackjack, and I did play one slot machine. That's all I could find, and I ended up ahead on that one. And I'm not positive. I think I'm ahead 20. It's either 20 or 40. I think it's 20. Sometimes you just get, sometimes you get wrapped up in what you're doing and you just stick money in. You know that it's a positive play, and you're just sticking money in, and then you leave and you're like, wait, am I up 80 or 180? So in this case, I think I'm up $20 on that, and 200 on the blackjack. So at this point, I'm really not sure what to do. Thinking about visiting another casino just to cash chips, because I have so many of their chips, I'm way over their limit. I could still visit them later today, but I have enough chips that I would play with that I'm not going to run out. So I don't have to worry about any kind of CTRs the way that today is going anyway. I got plenty of chips for everywhere, so I should be all right as far as that. I just need to figure out where I'm going to go. So I'm not sure. So I am going to go cash some chips, look at some slots, think this through, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys. I am sitting in the car at a casino, still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do. But I went into this casino to cash some chips, and there's only one cashier at this casino, and it happens to be the same person that cashed me out earlier, and I just didn't want to go again because they will give me a hard time. So I decided just to wait it out. I looked around at some machines and stuff and really didn't find anything. I ended up making like $5. I did go to a restaurant and eat also, and then went back, and then the guy was gone. So I waited till there was no line in case the guy was in the back, which has happened before. He'd be in the back, I get in line, then I get to go to him, and then he gives me a hard time. But in this case, I waited till there was no line, and I walked up to one of the empty cashiers, got my money, and left. I still have a little bit of chips from there, but the majority of those are gone. Right now, I am sitting in the car trying to figure out what to do next. I was just assigned a ton of work to do for tonight, even though I'm supposed to be off tonight. So I don't know what their problem is, but they gave me a whole bunch of work to do, at least a couple hours worth of work. Please rescan this, please do this, I need a report on this. And there's so many different things. I'm looking at it right now. There's about 20 requests I have to take care of, not including all the tickets that should be coming in. And then they want me to do a status on all the stuff that's happened this month so they can turn it into whoever. So that's not a lot of fun, but we'll do what we have to do. So right now, I am waiting. There he is calling me. I'll be back. All right, guys. So I don't know if you heard that ringing or not, but so this AP friend of mine had an idea of going to this place. It's pretty far away, and it's going to make me have a really long day tomorrow. But we would meet like a half hour, 40 minutes away from the city that I'm in right now, leave a car there. I'd be able to sit in the car. He'd probably drive, and I'd be able to get some work done. And then we could take turns driving or whatever, get some sleep. And then Thursday and Friday, I've got 16 meetings, which is insanity. So Thursday is tomorrow morning, so it's already evening, and I have to do all kinds of stuff. We want to make some money and do my work and get to the meetings tomorrow. So it is insane. So I'm going to wait for him. He's going to send me a location, and then I'm going to meet him there, and I'll update you in a while. All right, guys, here's the situation. I am about 20 miles away from our meetup location. We are going to leave my car there most likely, and we're going to go, I've already traveled almost an hour. We're going to go another hour or so to the next casino, and then from there it'll be another 2.5 to 3 hours to the casino after that, and that's our final destination. And we may or may not get there by midnight, and then once we play there, we'll head back to the casino we're going to next, and then head back to the city. And then tomorrow morning, if we do all this and we spend like 2 hours at each place, let me think here. Talking about, I would probably be doing my first meeting of the day in the car as we're driving back, and then I would have a break of a few hours, and I would have to run to 3 casinos, and then I would have a bunch of meetings in a row, most of which they don't need a lot of input from me, but definitely all the reports and stuff have to be done by me tonight. So a lot of stuff going on. I think what I'm going to do is end this episode and then start a new episode, and that's basically going to be starting like evening Wednesday night, because it's going to be really long. It'll be over an hour if I don't do that, and then I'll catch up with you on the other side there. So if you have any questions or comments, the email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.